Welcome to the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast, brought to you by Yellow Hat Outdoors.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 8 of the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast. This is try number 5 tonight here in Studio A in Bethany, Oklahoma. And it's me, your favorite host, Glenn.
And it's me, Hudson, your host that's a liability.
Liability. I feel like I'm always just very worried about what I'm going to say. I don't usually say too much bad stuff, but I'm always like, man, it's going to be here forever.
I'm just waiting for my opportunity to tell the masses to rise up and overthrow our government.
That's right. And I'm in.
Put me on the FBI list.
Yeah, if we just start saying like bomb or something, oh gosh, there I am again. My agent's gonna have a fun time following up this one. No, we're coming at you live tonight. Been a rough 2 weeks with the podcast here. I screwed something up bad. We spent about an hour and 15 minutes with Hudson, his dad, last week. And quite frankly, I screwed it up. I don't really know what I did wrong. Still to this day, don't know what I did wrong. And that really worries me. But moving forward here.
I'm of the opinion it was a terrorist attack.
Thank you.
And that's my opinion on it. That's all I can say about it.
I need to get some good anti-terrorist software on my computer.
Yeah. You can get your father-in-law over here, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's more in the physical security world than the virtual, if you know what I mean.
That's true. That's true.
No, I didn't fall for any phishing attempts or scams online. I simply somehow, I don't really know. I saved the project, exited out, wasn't working. And when I opened it up, it said literally file not found. So I'm not really sure what I did wrong. What I do know is simply this: it's gone. So we'll do another one with Hudson's dad before too long here. He's got a ton of stuff to say on really all things hunting.
Yep.
Definitely we'll talk about some deer hunting with him. We'll talk big game. He's been going up to Colorado and chasing the elk really hard the last few years. He's literally so addicted, it's not even funny.
He has done everything, probably almost everything you can do in elk hunting. And, well, I say that there's a lot you can do in elk hunting, and there's a lot of variables, but he's experienced a lot of it. And elk hunting is just, it's super exciting. It's a really physically demanding and just, I don't know, adrenaline inducing hunt because, you know, elk are big game. And I know probably a lot of people listening to this have seen videos and pictures of elk or seen elk watching some kind of hunting show. But when you're up close to an elk, it's truly like, you're like, that is big game. They are just massive, and it's being up close to one, especially one like out in the woods in the Rockies, and you're hunting one, like just, whew,
Yeah.
it'll get you going.
They smash trees with their antlers. They do this bugle that literally will just send chills up your spine.
It'll, me personally, I haven't had one bugle up close to me. I've heard several bugles and stuff out in the woods in the Rockies during elk season, but they say that whenever an elk bugles relatively close to you, it genuinely rattles like your organs. It's so loud and just piercing, and it's daunting hearing that out in the woods. Whenever you're out in the woods, unless you're by like a river, you know, it's pretty quiet out there, even with all the birds and stuff and the squirrels going around, whatever. It's to hear something like that, like it's just like,
yeah, it literally shakes you down to your freaking bones.
yeah.
Golly. Yeah. He literally, he's obsessed with elk hunting right now. Without giving too much away, had quite a story from last year. Yeah. We'll get into all of his whitetail. I mean, he's literally hunted Oklahoma whitetail for like 40 years. So he's seen a thing or two,
Yeah.
you know?
Seen a thing or two, knows a thing or two. Definitely still learning stuff with whitetail hunting from him even now, with him being my dad. But I think he can provide a lot of knowledge for our listeners.
Yeah.
And a lot of stories that are pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got that story of the buck that got away. Well, Tim has about 30 of those stories a season. So, no, he's just a wealth of knowledge, but just really super bummed that one didn't turn out and that our thousands and millions of faithful listeners did not get an episode last week.
Yeah, we got flooded with messages. Where's the podcast? Put up the podcast. What happened? And, we're sorry, guys. I mean, stuff happens.
Yeah. It's one word. Glenn happens.
Yeah, Glenn happens. And, I'm ready and able and willing to take the title of your favorite podcast host after this debacle.
I think he might deserve it, but I'm not giving it up without a fight.
So anyways, with that being said, we're calling this little podcast kind of a controversial conversations, where we're going to kind of tackle some questions that are kind of hot button issues within the hunting community and stuff. But to start this kind of thing out, we talked about this a little bit. I guess not really this specifically with, I think maybe our first episode, we brought up the question, what do you do if somebody shows up to your hunting spot that you showed them? Like, yeah. And kind of that scenario. Well, Glenn's kind of got something that happened to him recently, and we're going to kick it off talking about this. I don't know this story, so we're going to.
Yeah. Yeah. So just recently here, like I said, I love to waterfowl hunt a ton, but I'm also pretty busy, newly married, got a puppy, work 40 hours a week trying to do this podcast. So I don't really have a ton of time right now to do a lot of scouting and stuff. So this season I've just been leaning heavily on the convenience hunts, more than killing birds. I'm just like, man, I've got a Saturday or a Sunday. Like, I'm going to try and get out there and get after them. And so I've got a spot, north of Oklahoma City, not too far, pretty close still. You shoot and the sound echoes off houses. It's pretty, it's just weird. But we went up there for just a local goose hunt. Had a funeral. My brother was in town. He's never even duck or goose hunted before. It's a flooded wheat field with a little puddle in the middle. So it's pretty awesome because, like, you'll probably have a few ducks fly by and then, a good number of geese. So I got recently about 2 or 3 dozen full body goose decoys. I've got some floaters, got some ducks. I was like, let's just go out there. We'll throw them out. It's a guaranteed hunt, and we'll see what happens. So, Saturday night, kind of make the decision. My brother's super excited because he's never, actually Friday night, he's never really done any waterfowl hunting and stuff. So I was excited to kind of take him out, show him the ropes. Me and my buddy Rob were going out there. And so I text the landowner, and he's like, yeah, man, you're good to go. And so, didn't think anything of it. And we pull up at the gate at 6 o'clock, and there's a truck there. And I was like, oh, sweet. Mike's up for some reason. He's going to say hi. And I get out of the truck, and it's not Mike. I'm like, what the heck? Like, just like kind of like, it's early in the morning, but then your mind just starts going. You're like, I know for sure I have permission here. Like,
yeah.
Who is this guy or gal? Like, what are they doing? Like, it was the last weekend of deer season. Like, are they deer hunting or are they like, what are like?
Well, and Mike, from what I mean, he probably would have told you, like, somebody else was going to be out there, right? Like,
yeah, I would think so. So I was pretty confused why there was anyone. So it kind of threw me off my game from the start. So I got out of the truck and I'm like, hey, man, like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, well, we're about to goose hunt. And I said, that's funny. I am too. I was like, do you guys like know the landowner or what's the story here? And they were like, well, we're actually, this is our first time ever waterfowl hunting. We're actually waiting on another guy that has this property, has permission here. And I was like, okay, like, and I'm like, I've never really asked who else hunts it. I've just kind of assumed it's just me and the family. Because I've never seen anyone out there. I've never seen really too much evidence of anyone hunting out there. Just kind of weird. And so I'm like, okay, like, how close are they? He's like, oh, well, he's just a couple minutes behind us. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we get back in the car. My brother and Rob are like, dude, like, what's happening? I was like, I have no idea who this is. Apparently they're hunting this morning too. So I guess we'll just figure it out when this guy who supposedly has permission gets here. And so the guy pulls up, and I got out of the truck. I was like, hey, man, how's it going? He's like, good. And I was like, kind of just came out a little strong out of the gate. In hindsight, probably should have worded things better, but I was just like, hey, like, do you guys have permission here? And he was like, yeah, do you? And I was like, obviously, like, yes. And I was like, I texted Mike, the landowner, last night, and he said that we could hunt. And the guy's like, oh, okay. Like, we have permission too. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, are you goose hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting? He was like, oh, we're goose hunting. And I was like, okay, so are we. I was like, where are you wanting to sit? And he was like, oh, probably by the pond. I was like, okay, that's where I'm sitting. And I was like, it's 6:30. You know, shooting light is at 7:10. I was like,
Gotta get going.
we're hunting here. Like, I'm not driving somewhere else, like, to go get screwed out of another spot. Because, I mean, it's that late. Like, you're not getting another chance. And I was like, okay, so I'm goose hunting too. I was like, what do you want to do? And the guy was like, well, we can just set up on different parts of the field. And I was like, I don't think you understand this. Like, I'm hunting next to the pond. I was like, we can hunt together. Like, I don't mind that at all. Like, they both had kids in the passenger seat, so I was really trying to be super courteous. But also, I wasn't going to back down because it's my brother's first hunt. And, like, I'm a man. I'm not backing down. No, I think there's times to, like, kind of turn the other cheek, but that also just wasn't really the right time for that.
Yeah. And also you have, like, for sure, 100%, like, you know, you're told you can hunt there. Like, and, like, you know 100%, like, you're hunting there. So it's like, I mean, there's no reason for you not to sit where you please, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, man, well, I was like, literally, like, I guess we're just going to hunt together. I was like, I mean, is that fine with you? And he was like, well, yeah, I guess. And I was like, okay, like, because we're hunting together. I was just like, and so at that point, you're kind of just hoping, A, that you're not hunting with idiots that are going to shoot you, and B, you're kind of hoping that, you know, they semi know what they're doing. Well, a little bit of both. They were super nice. One of them, like I said, him and his son had never waterfowl hunted before, so there was a little bit of that kind of side of things. And we finally got all set up, and he didn't really want to take the lead, but I didn't really want to, like, bully. I'm not the best goose hunter, but, like, I've been on enough that I feel like I know generally what to do.
Yeah.
And so eventually I just kind of like, all right, man, well, let's set up here and do this and that. And so we kind of got it all set up and got settled down. And, you know, we had a good morning, kind of just chit-chatting with them and stuff. And we had plenty of geese fly over, and just nothing ever worked. And I couldn't, part of it maybe was their layout blinds weren't grassed in super well, and part of it, I think he had silhouette decoys, which pretty much is cardboard goose cutouts, and they were like kind of see-through, and so they were like kind of shining in the bright sun, and it was just kind of like, it was just really like disappointing. So I don't know, it was just one of those weird situations. But I mean, literally the number one rule in that situation is like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if you call the landowner at 5:30 or earlier in the morning, like, I'm sorry, guess who's hunting? No one ever again. So it turned out good. Like, we ended up talking with the guys after for a while, and he literally gave me his phone number, and, like, it's kind of like, hey, like if you ever want to hunt, let me know. But it was just like one of those situations, like hindsight probably should have been like a little more like chatty at the beginning rather than just, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Well, and they did have like they were good to go hunting there. Like they had talked to, as far as you know.
yeah, as far as I
Okay.
know, I was supposed to see Mike that afternoon, and then our event thing got canceled, and so still haven't really talked about him. Poor guy just destroyed his humerus on his arm, like getting surgery this weekend and everything. So I feel
Yeah.
really bad for him now. I'm just kind of like, I'll just bring it up, sometime when I get a chance. Like I don't want to bother him too much, but it was just kind of weird. And I think the guy told me later that he had seen people poaching out there before too. And so I think he was kind of like, do
was
these
sketchy.
guys actually
Yeah.
have permission? And so I think in the future, what my plan is I'm going to try and come out of the gates a little softer. And also, I really want to put an emphasis on like getting written permission. Because I think like no matter what, like if someone comes out after you, if you don't have to be like, well, yeah, you can call the landowner. Like if you can have a piece of paper that literally says, Glenn Adams can hunt on my land, and it's, whatever the guy's name is, Joe Bob the third.
Or even like for that, like, a text.
Yeah.
Like just a text from him, and you can just look at the number and be like, yeah, that's him. Okay, we're good.
Exactly. Yeah. So just kind of like I think my plan moving forward is to, try and be a little more organized with that stuff. Cause that also helps, if the game warden comes and you're not on the guy's land that you thought you were. That happened to some of my friends, set up on the wrong field, and they all got bat tickets. And it's just a
Yeah.
hard lesson to learn. And I think that, if they had, some written permission from this guy and that said where they thought they were supposed to be hunting, and, it might have made things a little better.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was just a really weird situation that I've never been in before, but I am really glad that I kind of thought it through and I didn't like try and rush through, too much or like,
Yeah.
luckily I'm a pretty non-confrontational person. So I'm not usually one to get into a fist fight, or anything. So I think it worked out in the best, but it was just like a really weird situation. So I don't know. I've just never experienced anything like
Yeah.
that. So I was just so caught off guard and at, pretty early in the morning. But
Yeah. You only have one DP in you.
That's right. That's right. So, it was just a weird time. So I don't know. I thought I would share that story with you guys. Just, you do have to really be careful because my dad was just telling me a story about someone pretty important. I'll keep them very vague, that went on a guided deer hunt. And this guy, they paid him, and the guy's like, all right, here's the gate. You're going to walk in 300 yards, and then you're going to go to the left, and there will be a stand in there. You just get set up in there, and I'll come down. And the guy paid him that morning, and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go get some coffee and stuff, and I'll be right in there behind you to take care of everything. And the guy never shows up. And then next thing you know is like this truck pulls in. He's like, what the heck are you doing on my land? Like the game warden's coming. And this guy's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like I'm on a guided hunt. Like I can show you this guy's name and number. He's like, oh, no, you're not. Like this is private land.
What?
Yeah. And so isn't that crazy?
Oh.
Dude got a huge ticket. Again, pretty high official in Oklahoma.
Wow.
But so needless to say, just you really got to be, first off, very sure you're with a reputable outfitter if you're going.
Yeah.
But you got to be really, really confident who you're hunting with and who you're around, just that you are on the right land, because that's black and white. If you're not,
Yeah.
if you don't have permission, like you're getting
Yeah.
a ticket. Like that's just, you're trespassing. Like
Yeah.
plain and simple, mistake or not.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought, this was a good reminder, especially just Onyx is worth the whatever $20 a year to
Yeah.
make sure you're in the right spot and on the right land and everything. So just a wild situation for me.
Yeah, and we'll only promote that once they shell out some sponsorship money.
Yeah. Yeah. Download Yellow Hat X.
I wish.
Hudson in bikini pictures. No. No, but no, it's a cool service. But yeah, if they wanted to, allow us to hype them up a little bit, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I'll hype them up all they want.
That's right. I'll allow anyone to send us a little sponsorship money. If you guys know someone and you want to pull some strings for us, we'll accept it. So anyway, but yeah, so that was kind of a weird situation I was in, kind of a controversial, confrontational situation. And so we have a few questions that I figured we would pull up, maybe discuss, and then, if you guys have a different feeling or opinion, I really love it when people like text me, like they're like, actually I would do this, on anything I say. So yeah, give us some feedback, shoot me a text, comment on one of our posts or anything, or send us a message.
Yeah, you can even comment on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify on the episode, you can leave us a message on there and we'll see it, or email us. And it doesn't even have to be a direct response to something we said. You can send us a question that you think would be good for us to cover, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, a good controversial question or something you're arguing about, with your buddies at dinner or something.
Yeah.
Or at deer camp,
Yeah, we all have those hot topics that constantly comes up. I'm thinking of one right now that was an argument for at least a year and a half in our friend group. And it wasn't even a hunting thing. It was just who's going to win, a gorilla or a grizzly bear.
An age-old classic. It's like if you ask any dude, what's the biggest animal they think they could kill with their bare hands? You give them a minute and they'll have an answer or less.
Yeah.
Mine's a small black bear. I don't think a fully grown one, I'm not taking that.
My animal has gone down significantly.
You're going for a praying mantis.
I'm going. I think I could, with my bare hands, I think I could kill, just off the cuff here, I'm going to go with a possum.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that maybe a raccoon, but not a big raccoon.
Sure, like a small one, not like a big old boar raccoon thing. Okay.
That might be my top tier of what I could kill right now, but we're slowly growing.
That's right.
In size. So.
That's right. Ready for what's next. All right, so here is the first question. What are your feelings on social media hunters? And by that I mean the guys that just very truly are doing it for the gram. Every picture is all their ducks lined up perfectly. They're cut out head to toe. Actually, the only reason they're out there hunting is because they want to look cool. Or maybe they, let's just say the really popular people on Instagram. And I'm talking deer hunting, duck hunting.
Yeah.
I literally don't have one person in mind or anything. I'm just kind of thinking out there in general. What are your thoughts overall?
On the one hand, I love to be you want to get people out in the woods and out hunting and stuff, kind of any way you can. It's really awesome. It's really good, for a variety of reasons. You love to see it and all this stuff.
Right.
But to me, it comes across as people have a problem with people who kill just to kill.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of the vibe that you get from it a little bit.
Right.
Killing for notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
And not to gain something from the land that you live on, and to be able to provide food and a variety of other things for your family and neighbors and friends and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy to say, screw those guys.
Uh-huh.
It's easy to say that. And
I will say it. Screw those guys. No.
But I don't know. There's a bonus to it because those guys that are doing it for the Instagram, for the social media post, they're gaining popularity, and they're showing hunting to people who may not have ever hunted, and maybe people are wanting to get into it, which is an absolutely wonderful thing.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I like that about it. But I guess in terms of maybe respect,
Yeah.
they don't really have my respect too much on terms of their hunting prowess
Sure.
and how they go about it.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of guys that have really popular social media accounts and channels and stuff that do it for the right way. As far as I can tell, like the hunting public, like those guys are awesome. Love those guys.
Yeah, me too.
And I mean, there's plenty of others. But I don't know. I mean, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I very much respect your positivity, because I framed that in like the most negative way. I was literally only framing that to say like, let's rag on these kind of people. Now I got a few thoughts about it. I think that, you know, ultimately, like, the reason that you hunt, at least that I hunt, is to be in creation, spend time with friends and family, and, you know, maybe it's like it's this primal instinct of hunting and providing for your family.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel like it is in my core. Now, am I perfect, and have I eaten every single duck and coot and songbird? Statute of limitations. But like, you know, like as kids, like you're shooting like little birds and squirrels in the backyard. Like, have I eaten every single thing I've shot? No. Like, I won't act like I'm perfect or anything. But I think if you are hunting purely for an image, then I think that is where you're getting into some dicey territory.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. This is kind of like a weird coincidence. I've been seeing some stuff on social media about this pretty famous like couple, and they just got literally banned from a state for hunting forever.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
I don't know what their name. I didn't follow it too closely, but I saw some post about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna name their names just because I haven't looked into the story enough to.
They were poaching, correct? Is that what was going on?
That's what it certainly looked like. They were. I'll see if I can find some of the information on it right now, because it really is pretty insane.
This
honestly.
is where we need our producer.
I know. We're going to get Russell on before too long here as our producer. So this is not a confirmed number or anything. They paid over $130,000 in fines and restitution for the games that they harvested. They lost hunting rights in a state, and they pled guilty to conspiracy to violate the Lacey Act, which I'm not sure what the Lacey Act is. I'm going to do some research on that. But I'm not saying our justice system is perfect. However, if you get charged with $130,000 in fines, I worked for the state a little while. You got to screw up pretty dang bad.
Yeah.
You got to screw up bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's probably a little bit of
truth
to that. Let's see. Oh gosh, of course I Googled the Lacey Act and it pulls up an article about these people. I think essentially it is to stop just random killing. Basically, it says it prohibits importation of invasive species, and it protects plants, fish, and animals by criminally penalizing those who violate its provisions. obviously I'm not a lawyer. I'm not diving into all of the laws and stuff on it. But yeah, I think that's a pretty prime example of, someone who probably getting paid some pretty big bucks from some big camo companies, big hunting companies.
And we're about to name them.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're coming for you. But yeah, it's sad when it becomes more than just chasing game outside. It becomes more than hunting. You're losing track of that. I don't consider that hunting. Like that's just you're not just out there killing for fame. And so at that point, pretty much you're a serial killer. So
take that as you will.
Eat it. No. But yeah, ethically, I think like if you hunt and you take something's life, like, is it not like, do you not have respect enough to like take the time to eat it and stuff? I'm not saying I'm not perfect in that, like, but I do feel it is hard sometimes for me to, go hunting with people and, no one wants like the stuff they kill. And it's just like,
yeah,
I totally understand. Like maybe you don't really like to eat it, but I feel like that should give you a second to kind of think through it. So,
well, and I think to that point, there's some scenarios like, I don't know, there's some animals that we kill that are harmful to the environment and
Correct.
to our, like, a prime example is hogs.
Hogs.
I will slaughter 100 pigs and not touch a single one of them, because they need to be eradicated.
Sure. With no regrets.
Yeah. I mean, there and stuff like that, and even like you can go to like geese. Mm-hmm. Like Canadian geese have turned into essentially a pest a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of farmers would agree with that for sure.
Yeah, we got the Farmers Association behind us on this one. By the way, this podcast is sponsored by the Oklahoma Farmers Association
and the high school FFA. Hey.
Yeah. There's some leeway with that, but ultimately, if you want to harvest an animal from the land, you should have the full intention of using that animal to, either you eat it or donate the meat somewhere or something.
Well, even if you want to use the meat to feed your dogs, like that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It is kind of a touchy. It makes me sad sometimes when I see people that lose sight. They grew up hunting with their, dad or their grandpa or whatever, and then they lose sight of it.
Yeah.
Get so focused on the killing that, if they don't shoot, 100 geese stack or they don't shoot a big buck that season, like they're, sad. Like they just kind of lose track. So I guess all this to say, I'm not perfect or anything, but I guess sometimes I go out and hunt just so I can post pictures on the Yellow Hat page, but that's because I want to actually hunt, not because I care
we have fun
about my ginormous following on there of 1,000 followers. But yeah, it's just, I think that it's easy to lose sight, and I think there's way more to hunting than just posting a picture about it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, and I think if we were worried about that, we wouldn't have thrown up my doe picture this year. I only shot a doe, and she ate good.
Yes,
very good.
I didn't shoot a deer this year. Don't worry. I went out once, and like we said, goose egg.
But we're gonna get a turkey this year.
Yes, we actually are, and we're gonna go to that place that those guys were at, and if they're there, then they're getting their tires slashed for sure.
World War III.
Yeah, they kept asking me like how like the waterfowl hunting was out there. I was like, yeah, it's good. I was like, I am not mentioning the turkey because the turkey hunting is really good out here.
Or deer.
Yeah, or deer, but
anything else.
Yeah.
Just another classic example of the hunting community. Everyone's super friendly, but whenever it comes to good hunting spots that maybe not a lot of people know about.
Oh yeah.
It's tightly held secrets, close to the chest.
Yeah, things can get dicey quick on all that.
Well, I got one for you that is a little bit off the cuff, but it's because I saw there video went viral a couple months back that I watched. And as a non-waterfowl hunter, I'd like your opinion on this, to where, let's say you got permission on some land, you got a farmer's field, you're going out there, you're gonna goose hunt, and maybe the wind's not looking right or something. You set up on the property line on another farmer's property where maybe some other guys are going to be hunting. What's the protocol with that? Is that obviously it's legal. It's legal to do that. That's not against the law. Is it I don't know, hunting foul? Is that kind of frowned upon in the waterfowl community, hunting right on somebody's property line?
Yeah. Dude, this is putting me on the spot, so I'm sure I'm going to forget something or not, I guess, kind of expound or whatever you call that enough on it. I think ultimately it comes down to your intentions. In my opinion, it comes down to intentions. If you have a guy that beats you to a field, gets permission on it first, or, whatever. Let's say they pay the farmer $1,000 to hunt it that day, and then you get permission on the field next door just to screw with them. That's a major party foul. I think if you get out there and you're in the field as, a half section or something, and you're on one corner and they're on the, caddy corner on the other field, on the other property, then that's okay. I think if you get out there and you both set up, you're setting up and this other truck pulls up and they were going to set up right there just facing the other direction.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of thing that you take a second and say, hey, we should probably either join forces or, maybe one of us should go to plan B. So I saw the video that you're talking about, and this dude is absolutely tweaking. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Basically, the situation from my work from home research. Found the video, of course, I got sucked into it. Just insane. So
I knew you would.
These guys are hunting, I think, North Dakota, whatever, or South Dakota, but
that's some prime goose hunting.
Great, yeah. And they're in a cornfield, and they are truly on the edge. You can see they're in an A-frame blind, so pretty much it's almost like a teepee with no top. If you think about it that way, it comes out probably chest high. You sit down in between it, and basically just make you look like a big bush. Mm-hmm. And so we essentially what happened there was these guys got set up, and they're on the field edge, and about after the first couple groups come by, just 10-15 minutes after shooting, this guy pulls up and goes ballistic on them, screaming, yelling, mad that they're on the edge of his property and all this stuff. And it's just really crazy because they obviously weren't on his property, by about a foot or two. They obviously were not trying to interfere. They were unknowing. They didn't have bad intentions from what I saw and read.
And to be fair, these guys that were hunting on the edge, they were the ones that posted the video.
Sure.
So obviously they're going to kind of, but a lot of it was pretty uncut, and this guy's just pretty much losing his mind the entire video.
Going crazy on him.
Yeah.
So there was that. And so essentially, as it shakes out, the game warden gets called. They luckily had GoPros recording the whole time. And this is a good thing for you guys to know about if you don't know about it. There is laws that protect hunters and protect our right to hunt, called hunter harassment. And so if people, don't like you hunting and they interfere in your hunt and your success, that is a literal law that they are breaking. It's literally hunter harassment,
And what ended up that this guy would do is every time a group of birds would start coming in, he would drive past on his four-wheeler, start shooting guns and scare them off and stuff. So ultimately, the game warden and the county and state, whatever, go through all the footage and end up, I think, writing this guy a pretty hefty fine for screwing with him. But I think the moral of the story is if you have a problem with someone, like, just approach them and have a conversation, like, before you escalate things to this crazy level. Like, I think this goes through all of life. Like, one of my favorite quotes was, and this is explicit, so if you have a kid in the car, please turn the volume down. But they said, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. And I think that is like one of the best like life quotes. Like, if you assume someone has bad intentions, obviously, like, you're going to escalate things and things are going to get out of control. So I think that's kind of my take on it. Like, if you're setting up on a property line on the same field and you and another group end up at the same time, you can either hunt, on a different part of the field and you guys are both going to have a pretty crappy hunt. You can join forces and have a chance at a not crappy hunt. Or you guys can call the landowners, get in a huge scuffle. It'll really ruin your hunt and probably ruin anyone's chances of hunting there forever.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, kind of just a long-term decision there. Just have a conversation and be grown up about it.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you should probably never escalate something if you're having some kind of hunter's quarrel with some other hunters, because everybody's armed.
Yeah, just not gonna go
and you
well.
don't know who you're escalating it with. Somebody might be a little more off their rocker than usual, and things could get pretty dicey really quick. And to an extent, I think that could be a reason why, all the interactions I've had with other hunters have been super awesome and nice and stuff.
Very civil. Yep.
Not saying that this is a large reason, but it is a reason to keep it in your mind to be like, I shouldn't escalate something because this could very easily turn into a life or death situation if somebody loses it.
Well, we saw, I think it was last year, Reelfoot Lake. There was an altercation between duck hunters and a guy literally like slaughtered 2 or 3 duck hunters, like shot them. Crazy situation in Reelfoot. We can probably look up a story on that because I think for a while, there's all sorts of, rumors and stuff. But yeah, very truly, like a guy shot 2 guys for scaring off his birds.
Over literally nothing.
And I think if you ask those 2 guys, hey, would you rather die or not duck hunt today? I think they would probably make the same decision that everyone is thinking. Yeah, I'd rather just not duck hunt. But because this dude just flipped nuts on them for no reason, then I mean, their families are without a son, So it's pretty crazy. I don't know. It's a wild world out there, but I think if you have a calm head and a cool head and are willing to have a conversation or understand when you get beat, have a plan B, C, D, and E. Because like that happened to me literally yesterday or 2 days ago. We had a beautiful snow here in Oklahoma City, and I thought, duh, my stomach's going to hurt this afternoon. I'm sneaking out of work. So I didn't actually pull the sick card. I just messaged my boss and said, hey, like, it's snowing. I'm probably going to sneak out after lunch. So I took the afternoon off, and me and my buddy went out to duck hunt, and we were literally like 2 minutes late to getting like the blind we wanted. And it's just how it went. Like, I pulled around the corner, and this guy was literally popping the trunk of his car. And he had a bunch of duck decoys in there. And I was just like, dang it.
Yeah.
And he had like his wife with him too. So I was like, I'm not asking to hunt with this guy. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
But, it's just like one of those frustrating things. But like, I had 2 options. I could have got all mad and, I know the guy with this blind, or just let him hunt. Like, everyone's out there to do the same thing as you, which is enjoy being outside, enjoy being in creation, and chase some game. And so, Did that guy miss 3 geese that landed 20 yards from his blind? Yes. Did he not shoot at them when they sat back down 35 yards from his blind? Yes. Did that frustrate me? Sure. But did me and my buddy have a good time shooting a few teal on the other side of the lake? Yeah, we had a great time. So, yeah, ultimately, I just think having a level head and being reasonable about all that stuff, it really helps. So, I guess kind of a short episode tonight. Going to wrap it up with just those couple questions here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hudson, you got any final thoughts on everything?
Keep a level head, baby. Yeah, please send it. We would love to hear some hot topic questions you guys got. That would be awesome. Any scenarios you guys have ran into and have been like, what would you guys have done? Would love to do some hypotheticals.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with this next episode. I know you guys are all screaming, where is it? But it's coming. And yeah, thank y'all for listening. Glenn, you got some plugs?
Sure. Yeah, I'll read through the list of plugs in my head. Yellow Hat Outdoors on Instagram, Yellow Hat Outdoors on Facebook, Yellow Hat Outdoors at gmail.com, yellowhatoutdoors.com. Any of those you can reach us on. Again, yeah, anytime you guys comment on our pictures or like things or share a podcast with someone new, we really appreciate it. So this fall, we're thinking we're going to talk turkey. We're going to talk some shed hunting. Yeah, I said fall. That's awkward. I'm an absolute idiot. Blondie over here. Talk shed hunting. We'll pull out some good things. I don't know. I might even give a little bird watching episode. I don't know. But we got some good stuff cooking as hunting season slows down and we break out of the fishing poles. We're going to have some good stuff for you. I'm going to Canada this summer. I am absolutely jacked up about it. Going to talk a lot about pike fishing before and after. And hopefully going to break the 40-inch mark on a pike. That's my goal. It's like the 10-pound bass of the pike world. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Reach out to us if you have any thoughts, questions. Hopefully going to get some interviews set up with guests virtually and remotely. So that will really open up our world for more guests. So if you know someone that should be good on the podcast, let us know. And yeah, I'm done rambling. It's time for a DP and some dinner. So Hudson's got some elk shepherd pie.
Heck yes.
In the oven. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and we will talk with you next week.
Peace.
Peace out.